What's up, guys? Welcome to another tech video, and for those of you who do watch my tech videos, you'll know that I'm a bit of an Apple fan. Just a bit. Just a little bit. But even I have my limits. Even I will bring up things that I don't like when Apple does because they don't work well, or they're poorly made, or they're overpriced. Oh yeah, Apple products are all overpriced. Shut up, we're not here to talk about that. This is something different. Today I'm talking about why the Apple iPad Pro keyboard cover is a total ripoff and you shouldn't buy it. So let's get started. So yeah, if you guys have an iPad Pro at all, I wouldn't get this. In fact, I would highly recommend you not getting it. Now, there are accessories that I recommend you get directly from Apple. For example, the regular folio cover. That's actually a pretty good cover, and it doesn't get in the way of the actual design or the feel of the product. It's very easy to attach because it literally holds on with magnets, something it shares with this, but it's not a keyboard cover, and therefore it's actually very nice to use. A couple other accessories would include things like the Apple Pencil. That's directly from Apple, and it works phenomenally. In fact, it has replaced my Wacom tablet. It has replaced most other drawing tools, and with Sidecar being added to the iPad now, oh man, like, there's no comparison. But then there are other things with it, including this keyboard case, that I would recommend looking somewhere else. For example, with the iPad Pro now having USB Type-C, get anything other than Apple's USB-C accessories, like seriously. This USB Type-C to SD card adapter, this thing literally costs somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20, whereas Apple is charging almost $40. So yeah, this is a perfect example, and this is a perfect example of not getting Apple's specific products. Now, why am I bashing this? Why don't I like it? Well, let me tell you why I don't like it. A couple things. The keyboard itself, the thing you interact with the most, it's not the best, but it's not the worst keyboard in the world. It's not quite as good as Apple's desktop keyboards, but it's not quite as bad as the MacBook Pro keyboards because, well, it still works. I'll let that sink in for a minute. And it's not backlit, which is kind of irritating, and I've had people tell me, well, maybe it's because the pins, it's powered by the smart pins on the back, and those don't provide enough power. To that, I will say that when Apple had the pins on the bottom side of the iPad, when it just connected straight down, those pins provided enough power for several backlit keyboards with no batteries. It was just powered through the pins. So you can't say they couldn't have backlit this because other companies were doing it when it was easier to make a pin set for the accessories. And yeah, the pins are in kind of a stupid place. It's not really an issue I have with this keyboard because it's made by Apple, so it just works with it. But the fact that they didn't make it in a way that is easy for other companies to make. So for accessories to take advantage of the smart pin connector, you kind of either have to go with this or Bluetooth because there aren't really many third-party keyboard cases that use the smart pin connector. They also didn't add function keys. So by not having function keys at the top, you have to memorize key commands like you're using a computer straight out of 1998. And while they do carry over quite a few key commands from things like macOS, which is good, I actually really like macOS's key commands, I don't want to have to memorize those on an iPad. An iPad is supposed to be something different than a computer. Yeah, you remember your whole "what's a computer" ad? I kind of feel like if you want that to be true and you want people to kind of forget what a computer is and just use a device, you kind of need to detach from your key commands of the past and add function keys. And lastly, it's on the outside. This ages so poorly. This thing costs $179, over $180 once you pay for tax and everything. And it's fingerprinty when it's new, and it's wrinkly when it's old. Like, I don't get it. It ages so poorly. And I know my case for using this is a little extreme because I take this to work and carry it around with me for anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a day. But you can't tell me that they weren't anticipating that to some degree. And even then, the hinge would still see aging with it. And it wrinkles, it feels cheap, and it just doesn't age well at all. And for $180, I would genuinely expect this to age better than what it has. I'm very disappointed with it. To give you a comparison here, because I like comparing things, This keyboard case costs $180, but I did a review not too long ago, I don't know if you guys watched it, of this keyboard and this case. Now, I had my issues with the case. I think the ergonomics are a little weird because they put a spot here for the pencil, but it also has a spot up here for the pencil so you can wirelessly charge it. And extending the grip is a little weird. This case I'm not the biggest fan of, but the keyboard I like. This keyboard, yes, it's a Bluetooth keyboard, so you do have to charge it, in my experience, once every 2 to 3 months. But it attaches to the back of the case. It's removable, so you don't have to carry it with you everywhere. Now, I don't mind for the people who say, you know, oh, well, it's, you know, the keyboard's in the way. They give you enough of a grip in the back that I don't really mind that part of it, because this I can get used to, but most of the time I'm holding it like this. But if you are that person who doesn't like that, you can literally just get this, detach it, and you've got an iPad without a keyboard on the back. And for $60, this is $60 for this and the case, you get a pretty decent keyboard. Actually, it's very tactile. I do like it. This is my go-to travel case and keyboard. It gives you function keys at the top for $60. You've got things like the home button, brightness controls, dedicated search. You can bring up the software keyboard. You can open up your web browser, play, pause, fast forward, rewind, volume controls, lock, and your delete key. And the biggest thing, wait for it, it's backlit. How hard is this? A $60 keyboard has Bluetooth, so they don't even like have to worry about the pins. In fact, they put more radios and more batteries in this thing and charged $60 for it. $180, $60. And you get a case with this one. I think I know where I'm gonna go once this dies. Because that's the thing, I use this thing because the way that it props up is nice. I don't wanna have to carry around a giant case. I don't wanna have to pair up Bluetooth to this. I want this, but with this kind of connector. I don't understand why this is so hard for Apple to do. And the fact that they're charging $180 for this thing, it's just not worth it. So overall, at the end of the day, while I recommend a lot of Apple-specific accessories for most people's use cases, especially when it comes to things like the Apple Pencil or general cases for phones or Bluetooth headphones or chargers, while I recommend Apple-specific things in those instances, when it comes to a keyboard case, especially considering what Apple's offering, I would look elsewhere. There are way better deals with some compromises that can completely be overlooked because of the fact that it costs so much less. $180, you're going to get a lot of scrutiny, and if you don't have a reason for that price, you're not going to overcome that scrutiny. Whereas if you are $50 or $60 and you have a few things wrong here and there, people can forgive that because it's super cheap. So at the end of the day, like I said, I do like Apple products. I will tend to recommend an Apple branded accessory before I recommend third party, but with my experience over the past year of using the Apple keyboard, I would pretty much recommend anything but that. Otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description right under the like button there. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. Hey guys, just hopping in at the end here. Thanks for watching through the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have merch. I've actually had it for quite a while, but not a lot of people know about it or care. And so if you guys want to support me or check it out just because it looks cool, go to the link in the description. You can see some of the designs I have, like the Steel Frodo in Steins Gate design, or even the Mob Psycho 100 design, and maybe even buy one if you like it, or don't. I cried myself to sleep at night anyway. So either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.